Hi, Richard's Guitars. I've just done a whole video and I didn't press record. So this is how rubbish I am. And this might be the part of the problem with my video that I did a couple of days ago. And it's also why I'm doing this video now. This is a kind of a follow-up to the video that I did about the Gibson guitars, bankruptcy, potential financial problems. I'm hoping, like I did when I did my last video, that the lights shining around here are not making me look like I'm burning up in the sun. Depending on where I stand, hopefully I've worked out the video settings. So, apologies about the lighting on the last video. But more importantly, bearing in mind I've said this all once already, so I'm hoping I'm going to sound natural in saying this time, God. The reason for this video is to address a couple of points that I said in the video that you watched a couple of nights ago. You may have watched a couple of nights ago about Gibson guitars. When I do a video, first of all, this is all very new to me. I've been doing it a while in terms of just basic videos. The camera's brand new. This particular camera's brand new. All this kind of voice mic over stuff is all new. And I basically wrote or did a video, a lot of content. And in watching that content back, I realized there was a lot of what I talked about which was too contentious and actually too hateful. When I say hateful, I keep reading, this is the kind of word I want to hit on today, this kind of hate word. People might have felt that I was being hateful. So I was deliberately trying to keep to the point and not talk about people, businesses involved in the kind of stuff that I was witnessing. I didn't mention any names, but I just didn't think it was worth talking about at all. And there's certain, this video I'm doing now, I want to contextualize what I was trying to say in my other video, and also to apologize for a couple of things that I said that I feel that really undermine my argument. And I do feel that I'm always capable of addressing, if I have a fallout with someone, I'll look back and go, okay, how did I play a part in that? Throughout my life, I've done the same. Any negativity or any problem that's occurred in my life, I'll always look at where I've been involved and how could I have done that better and how could I help avoid that situation in the future. So, although a lot of the content and a lot of the replies on my, the video were positive in terms of just, echoing what I'd said. This context of hate came up, and also the key thing that I want to talk about to apologise for is the logo, the kind of decal, which was Les Paul's signature. Now, I knew that the signature, I didn't go in, at the time it was just a small part of a bigger video, but the signature wasn't the issue. The signature was the font used on the signature and the connecting with the 100, and I just thought it looked tacky. And whilst some people have said it's disrespectful to talk about the guy's signature, actually I personally felt it was more disrespectful to use the signature in that way on a guitar that was, of that badly made, poor quality. However, all of that is actually not, the whole style and visuals of the guitars is not what the video was supposed to be about. So on that level, I apologize for using the discussion about I shouldn't have brought that up, or if I was good at editing, I'd have chopped that out. And also the stuff about the coloring of the guitars, again, this is all very personal choice. Quite rightly, some people have said, well, actually, I really like the modern colors. That is really important, that nobody must feel, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want people to feel that I'm dictating what people should like and dislike. So that wasn't really that relevant either. The wonderful thing about guitars is we all got different choices, we've all got different views on what we love. And actually, if Gibson guitars have a whole range of science fiction, hi-fi, if it makes you tea or opens the curtains or something, and this is all fine, great. Everyone's gonna have their own view on what they want their guitar to do and the technology involved. So that wasn't really what the video was about either. So those two topics kind of marred my presentation, as did the lighting and the poor quality. So the whole thing's been a learning curve for me. So I'm hoping this one will be presented a bit better. I've worked out how to do the lighting a bit, I think. Now, so with that said, that's an apology. I am sorry that I used the logo font, and I'm sorry I used the coloring as a kind of focal point. It distracted from the key issue. So the key issue was that what I've been hearing in the press regarding Henry and his attitudes and words that he's coming out with about dealers, about the people that have supported his product, about the players, the people that have been buying his products, okay? He's lashing out and he's saying some pretty awful things about the people that buy his guitars on both levels, the people that buy the guitars to sell them and the people that buy them to play them. I only created the video because this channel is all about my passion, and it's all about my love for the guitar. It's about my history and expressing my feelings about things that are going on. So my only interest in the story that is breaking at the moment was to share my feelings of how his brand affected me personally. And I don't think that came across in the video. So I now want to say just a couple of brief things about it. I got into guitar industry in 1995. I think about 1998 or 1999 I started selling Gibson guitars. When I started selling those guitars, it was my dream. I learnt to play when I was 8 years old. I started to play when I was 8 years old, and then I opened my business, I think, when I was about 22. I'd suffered a major illness in my life. Sort of reflected on, you know, what I was doing at university, and thought, no, let's just go in, let's do stuff I love, make every day as if it's my last, all that kind of thing. Got into guitar business, teaching guitar, and selling Gibson guitars was such a privilege. It was the privilege. You know, my whole dream was coming true, that I was now going to be a Gibson guitar dealer. So to witness within weeks of opening my dealership that standard practice of the way in which I sell these guitars was to see a red sheet of paper and opportunistically purchase guitars with broken truss rods, twisted necks, and any guitar tech will tell you these are not easy fixes. These are not things that you want to buy into. 25% off with a discount. So major discounts available, but why would you want the guitar even with 25% off with a broken truss rod? I mean, but that, again, let's not get into that topic. The point is, this prestigious brand was selling guitars to the trade as standard practice in broken form. So that was my first experience of selling Gibson guitars. As well as that, Gibson soon after opened their direct online sales. This is about the year 2000. Their direct sales to the end user, called musicyo.com. Now, musicyo.com was selling products that Gibson were buying. They were buying up brands and selling them direct to the end user. So one of those brands happened to be Kramer. The reason why this was so upsetting for me was that Kramer guitars was a guitar that I would have loved to have sold. It was actually a very important product to me personally. At the age of 18, there was an advert. My parents bought me a Kramer guitar, and I went down to London to buy it with a chap called Tom Crockett, who may be watching this video. Hello, Tom. Tom was a mentor, a tutor, wonderfully inspiring man that I still see, and he lent me some skiing gear recently for a little trip I went on with some pals, so thank you for the skiing stuff. So I went to London and bought this Kramer guitar. It was a Kramer Pacer 2, an absolutely wonderful American-made rock guitar. Probably one of the best rock guitars I've ever played. I absolutely love the guitar. Tom was teaching me, I was a big Michael Jackson fan, so he was teaching me the Van Halen solo, which I never could do probably, any justice whatsoever. But he did it very well, and that was always very inspiring to watch him playing that. So Gibson bought this brand. They ceased production of Gibson guitars in America, which I think, I mean, this is what I'm going to show my, I'm talking off the top of my head here, so I'm going to forget facts. I don't know whether it was Gibson or Fender. It might have been Fender, but either Gibson or Fender have done the same thing with Ovation. The American Ovation product is now no longer available as an American product. I think it's only available in the Far East. So this is what Gibson had done. But not only did they buy the brand and cease the production of guitars from America, but they then sold direct, totally bypassing retailers. And the products were getting reviews in Guitarist magazine because they were putting huge numbers of pages of adverts for Music Yo. So the guitar press at the time was absolutely swamped with advertising for Music Yo, which no British retailer benefited from. Now, you may say, oh, don't feel sorry for yourself, that's business. But that brings us back to the conversation about Henry and his comments about the fact he's always supported dealers. He hasn't at all. In fact, his whole attitude towards sales has been very draconian. So the bottom line is, right from the earliest infancy of early stages of the internet existing, Henry's views were very much into the world of selling direct, because Music Yo demonstrates it absolutely clear as day. So there was no support for dealers. There certainly wasn't any interest in me as a dealer. There was no interest in the fact we had a workshop at the back, we were hand finishing everything. And in fact, people like me were a pain in the backside. Dare I mention quick example of Gordon Smith. When Gordon Smith Guitars retired, when John Smith retired, I had a huge amount of criticism for closing my account 2 years before he retired. Without dragging that whole thing up again, I did for my own reasons. I did it because of my own conscience. I wasn't comfortable with what I was selling. But 2 years later, the brand was bought. It was bought out, and the quality of Gordon Smith guitars has rocketed through the roof. And this is where I see Gibson at right now. And this is why I think it's relevant that I see the worst scenarios are happening, but it could bring the best out of it. And I'm not a Gibson hater. I'm not deliberately bashing the brand. And in fact, I'm hoping I'm showing that I'm also capable of looking at and reflecting on what I've said. If I don't think something is accurate or reflecting my thoughts and feelings, I apologize. I let you know that I don't think I presented it very well. I'm not sure if we're covering everything, but so Gibson, yeah, it's more about this person that came in, had no care or attention towards quality control. It's never, what other brand do you know? What brand do you know that exists today that could relentlessly and continuously be so poor, and so publicly and shamelessly be so poor, and get away with it and not go out of business? Gibson seems to be able to do that because there's this kind of inbuilt love for the brand, which I completely understand and I relate to it. And when I see an old Gibson, and when I pick up any Gibson, and even that Gibson that I showed you in the video before, let's just quickly just talk about that. That's a Les Paul Studio. It's got robot machine heads. It's got blah, 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 blah. All that kind of stuff I criticize. You're a studio guy, or you're someone who does lots of alternate tunings. That's a fantastic tool. It's a brilliant tool. I've got to sell that guitar, and I'm disparagingly talking about it. But as a working instrument, as a working tool, it's great. But what's not great about it? If you quickly look on YouTube, because when I read about people saying that I was being hateful and I was being this and that, I thought, oh, am I on the bandwagon? So I started researching videos about Gibson and quality, and it's endless. It's like it's forever. And just look at the one guy that bought 4 guitars of that exact same style, exact one that I showed you in the video. He had to buy 4 guitars before he got one that worked. Okay, now this isn't an isolated case. 4 guitars. 3 he bought online, and then he had to, in the end, in the end, he bought the fourth one from a shop because he just gave up, I presume, trying to get one online. So he bought it from a shop. Hey, you know, thumbs up to the shop and quality control. But that shouldn't happen. That can't happen. You know, of a guitar of that price and stature, I could give you endless examples of horrific stories of that nature. Have a look at the other video that I saw of. I didn't realise that it come and punch. I don't watch these videos, so anyone who thinks I'm jumping on the bandwagon, it's not the case. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. I'm talking about my life, my feelings, my passion for the what I do. So I'm going to leave it there because I think I've probably said enough. I'll have a look back at the video and see whether I'll try and make sure I'm comfortable with the way I've presented this one, because I don't want to have to do a third one about it, because this is the end of it for me. I just want to make people know how I feel, that I'm only expressing an opinion based on my love of what I do, the upset that this product caused me in my life. You know, I closed my account, I refused to sell them, and I think it's important that whilst all this is going on and I'm seeing things, that I'm able to express my opinion and my feelings and share them with you, and share them in a way that you can then respond and I can read your feelings as well. I mean, this isn't about me just spurting out you know, nasty comments. It's like, I'm kind of interested in everyone's views, but please don't swear. I mean, there's stuff I've had to delete stuff because naturally, if you're abusive, if you're rude, you're using bad language, you're telling me to die or something, then clearly I'm not going to leave that on. So just be kind of constructive, or give me a thumbs down. Don't say anything. You know, I expect to get lots of thumbs downs. This kind of goes with the territory of being critical of something we all love. So okay, that's it.